Darius is going to probably go live on his end, and if you want to, Shamara, you can go live on your end.
Okay.
Oh, real quick, when you go live, does it ask you to do like a pre-recording or?
No, this one it just said go live.
Let me see. No, before you even enter the studio.
No, it didn't ask.
Okay, it does it right anyway. It was just a setting.
Because I remember that when I did the last pre-recording, it asked me if I wanted to pre-record because you set it up that way.
Yeah. But it's all right. I think it should work.
It made it very, very easy for me. Very, very easy.
Now you going live on Facebook, Tim? You going live on Facebook?
We're on Facebook. We are on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We are on what else there? Oh, we're not on Instagram. We're still trying to figure out the Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram's a little tricky.
It's a little tricky. So, but we're on Facebook. Oh, YouTube. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
I'll just share your live from
any slideshows.
No, I don't think she has any slides. Do you have any slides?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she trust me, she's a mouthful.
Nice. Oh, you guys can do your thing.
Hey, listen, she is when I say she's a mouthful, she is a mouthful, and I love it because every time her and I are together, we have a chemistry I don't think anyone can replicate in a lab. You know what I'm saying? We have a certain chemistry that we just really bounce off each other. And for some people that don't know us, they may feel like, do they like each other? No, we love each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Different.
I don't like Shamara. I love Shamara. Like, you have no clue. Like, I love Shamara. Like, but we keep it so 100 and real with each other. And I think in life, you need people to reel you back in.
Oh, yeah.
And you need people to be so honest and so real with you to say, hey, look, I see you making some mistakes. You need pull it back in, big boy.
Yep.
Come on back. And that's Shamara to me. Shamara is my sounding board. She is my reasoning. If she see me making some errors in life, she would tell me and keep it so 100 with me. And that's why I say I don't like her. I love her. So now, Miss Shamara, real quick, she is a 6-time author. As a matter of fact, not only she's a 6-time author, but this is one of her books. I purchased personally 5 copies of this book, Business Affirmation for Bosses. I purchased other copies for my daughters who still have the copies. And I want to quote 2 of them that I love the most. These are 2 of the quotes in the entire book that I love. One says, everyone falls. What matters is what you do while you're down there.
Mm-hmm.
That is true because my religion teaches me that out of the worst conditions, wise people find the means of good. So no matter how bad you fall off, figure out what can I do while I'm down here to get back up. You know what I'm saying? So I love that quote. And another quote it says is this. This is the one. This is like the dopest ever. Like, you was on some West Side stuff when you wrote I promise you. You was on some West Side stuff when you wrote this. Aww. Everything I've gone through was a part of the process. I am not afraid to share my story. I know there is someone in this world who needs to hear that they are not alone. Even now, reading that part, just reading that right now, I get emotional. Because sometimes people feel like, oh, you don't understand what I'm going through. Yes, we do. We do understand what you're going through. Like, I don't care if you're 18 or 58. We understand what you're going through because the scriptures say there is nothing new under the sun. So you have people that absolutely understand what you are going through.
Yeah.
So when you put that in the book, I was like, wow.
You know, and it's so funny, just a side note to that. You know, that was my very first book. That was my 40 before 40. I want to write a book, so here it goes. And then what? A year later is when we did that round table.
Oh my God.
And that's when all of that came. That was another example of like, it was so many other women, as you know, that just would not say anything. And my thing was like, oh, I'm telling everybody because I'm not the only person.
That's right.
And so many people, men and women, came to me after that, like, the fact that you shared that, like, I don't feel as bad now. Like, you know, I don't feel like I'm a fool. Or even me, it was like, I never even seen it from that side. Had you not said nothing, you know what I'm saying? My thing has been, listen, I'm gonna make it look real pretty on social media, but I'm not gonna make it look bad. Like if it's bad, it's bad. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I feel like people appreciate the good. They know, no, she's not bragging. She just overcame some stuff. So now that she's talking about the good, like when my son crossed, everybody, I know what y'all been through. People I have never met. I'm so proud of y'all because you talked about the struggles, him getting shot, you know, this, that, and the other. So to see y'all here now.
Listen, for the record, when he got shot, who pulled up in front of your house? I was there. You know what I mean? You my family. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was there. Like,
so yeah, it just be like, you know, moments like that. Because I'm gonna tell you the good. You're gonna get all the good, all the, you know, the I am everything. But I want you to see where it came from, though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always been like this. So that's it. But I have one quick question for you.
Go ahead.
I cannot find your live to share it.
I can't find. Can you take care of that? Darius, he can hear us. Hey, Darius, take care of that. Make sure you send her the link to the live.
I see it now. I see it on
take care of it.
Okay. That's why Darius is behind the scenes.
I'm like, where'd he go? Okay, I got it now.
Well, I want to let people know that you are a 6-time author. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 6-time author. And also through her business, SJS Business Building, she also helps young, budding, want to be authors. Like she would guide you into writing your first book. She has the whole blueprint because she did it 6 times. All right. She did it 6 times. Yeah. Also, what she does not mention, she's also is former law enforcement. She never mentions that. She don't even post that. But she is former law enforcement. And I say that because my oldest son is a St. Louis police officer. So I have a lot of pride when it comes to the blue. You know what I'm saying? She is a grant writer. So for anybody out there that needs a grant written for the business, she is someone you can go to write your grants. She is also a mentor, particularly for women. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a woman of color and you're stuck, you're trying to figure out what direction I need to go in. Like she is that mentor because when it comes to mentorship is all about the experiences. And what's great about mentorship is that it's like we're a GPS. We could guide you to whatever destination you need to go without running into roadblocks, without running into pitfalls, because we went that way before. So she has an amazing mentorship, even to the point of just a few months ago, I had a young lady reach out to me about something. And I said, listen, you need to meet Shamara. Remember a couple of months ago? And I sent the lady to her, you know, for mentorship because I know my limitations. Like what she needed, I couldn't help her with, but I knew somebody that could. And that goes back to building relationships and having friendships with people. You know, we build on each other. You know what I mean? And first and foremost, she is a community mortgage loan officer, which surprised me. Because when I said
surprised me too.
When you pivot. You know what I mean? Because you do a lot of work in the community. A lot. Like I would see you in St. Louis when you lived in St. Louis before you moved. Like you were at every community event. I don't care if it was hugging babies or passing out coats. Like you were there. And then all of a sudden you went from that to I'm a mortgage loan officer with a national organization, financial organization. So first of all, how did that happen?
So it was COVID. COVID is how it happened, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Like you say, you know, law enforcement, I was the director, operations manager at all of these big nonprofits in St. Louis, because that's my passion. Law enforcement was more of a challenge.
Right.
It was like, oh, you're not gonna graduate college. Please hold. Oh, you ain't gonna get no master's degree. You got a baby now. Please hold.
Talk your
You
shit.
can't get
That's
through
right.
you can't get through the police academy. You 30. You're gonna be the oldest one there. Please hold.
Please hold.
Like,
Right.
there's nothing I can't do. And so it was like, once I accomplished that, that was never my passion. I loved it, but my passion is helping people. So I started the nonprofit route, worked my way up to director and all that good stuff. And then when the position at the bank, which name I can't say, but
Right.
They were creating this role. No, there was no other person that had ever done it. And so
wait. So they created a role that you stepped into.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So because there was no me prior to me at this particular bank. Right. And what my boss told me, because at first I was like, I don't want to work in no bank. Like, if it ain't money in my hand, I don't even know how to count it. Like, I'm not that girl. And he said, and to this day, he is the best, most solid man I've ever worked for. He said, SJ, if you give me a year, I'm going to teach you something you've never been taught, and I'm going to show you how to make more money than you've ever made. And I was like, but I don't want to work at a bank. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm, look, ghetto girl, locks, tattoos. He said, give me a year. And I'm like, what do I have to lose? It's COVID, so my job had shut down anyway. And that was all she wrote.
I think it was very significant to the fact that he said, give me a year.
Yep.
And I say that's significant because a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to building, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend him for telling you, give me a year, because look where you're at now.
When I tell you, this man, and I've had plenty of, managers and bosses, that man poured into me. At first, I'm not going to lie, it's an older white man. The organization is a primarily white organization.
Right, absolutely.
I've never been a minority in anything I've done. Not school, not the police academy, no job. So at first, I was leery. I was like, I don't know what we're doing here. That man was so patient with me. That man was amazing. I can still call him now. And I left that first bank in May of last year. I still call that man to this day, like, do this make sense? Can you help me? Like, he genuinely was like, I want to see you do good. Like, the nonprofit part, I can't teach nobody how to be SJ. I can't teach nobody how to walk into these rooms, meet these people, make these connections. The bank piece of it, I got a book for that.
Right.
It's a class for that.
Right.
But I can't teach anybody that works at this bank how to be you. So just trust me for a year. And I'm glad I did.
Because you have that character. You know what I'm saying? Like you and I are a lot alike. I kind of raised you a little bit. So
you did.
We're a lot of, like you are a people's person.
Yes.
Now, I mean, you have a dynamic look. You have a radiating smile. When you walk in the room, people know there is somebody special in the room. And I'm not saying that to brag, but that's just honest.
Right.
You know like if I walked in the room and you was there, it could be 500 people in the room. I would focus and lock in that who is she? Because you had that kind of character. And I think that he recognized that you had that kind of character in you.
Yeah. That man, like I said, the way he poured into me, like I've never had anybody genuinely, like professionally pour into me like that before.
And the fact he was a white guy.
Yep.
That says a lot also. Because
yep.
I think sometimes because us, people of color, we try to discount other people based off of race. But at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, your race, nationality, male, female. If you can help me reach the next plateau, let's work. So currently, what do you do?
So I still do. Well, I do more of the consulting. So this year was a whole pivot for me. I'm all about, like you said, this big pivot. I'm always pivoting. So I am, as I should. So I am moving more into a consulting role, even with mortgages. Okay. So I am super close with a ton of realtors. And what we realize is I do these homebuyer seminars and education. People just don't know. Like they literally just do not know. So you can come to me all you want for a mortgage, but if I got to go back and teach you how to budget, you're nowhere near a mortgage. If I got to teach you what debt to income ratio means, you're nowhere near a mortgage. So I'm like, let me figure out how do we get the people in the beginning, which is how I got to go to the high schools and teach certain things. So I'm more still doing the mortgages, but I'm more towards, it's going to be something new. I can't quite say, but it's something new coming because again,
but so when you said you're on the consultant end, because there are certain things that people don't know. Mm-hmm. In your background, I'm so glad you said that. Mm-hmm. When it comes to being a first-time home buyer, first of all, in my profession, with my company, Pleasant Management, I always try to convince my clients not to buy residential home. All right. And the reason why I always say buy a multi-unit property as opposed to buying a single residential home. Mm-hmm. You buy a multi-unit, you can live in one, rent out the others, and the others that you rent out pay for the mortgage.
Absolutely.
I always advocate that. Whether it works or not, sometimes they be like, because we have this ideal of the house on the hill with the white picket fence with the dog and the barbecue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's been embedded in us. So I would say that 50-50, most of my clients be like, something, you're right. Let me find a multi-unit property as opposed to a single residential property.
Right.
Now, in your profession, when you have someone that find a house they like, mm-hmm. what are some of the pitfalls that you find that prevent them from closing on that house?
The number one thing is funds to close. It's down payment assistance. So like now, especially since COVID, maybe not as much, but like here in North Carolina, you can get $30,000 towards a closing on a house. Like it is so many programs out here. You got to be eligible for them, but there are a lot of programs where I have had so many people, amazing credit, low debt to income ratio. They can't come up with $5,000 to close.
Wow.
And I tell people, like, no matter what programs we have, my opinion, I don't even feel comfortable closing on somebody if I need $5,000 to close and you had to pull it from your 401k. Because to me, that means you're house poor. You cannot afford this house because there's no way you should be pulling from anything but a checking or a savings for $5,000.
Right.
And you buying a $400,000 house. So money down, it's always just perplexing to me. Like, you got this good credit, you got this good job. People don't save. People don't. I recognize that some people don't make enough to save. That's fine. But you buying a $400,000 house, you should probably have something saved up somewhere.
Absolutely.
So I think that down payment assistance is my number one. And my number two is always debt to income ratio. Credit is less of a problem than I thought it would be. It used to be you got to have a good credit and you can get an FHA loan with a 580. Your interest rate ain't going to be crap.
Say it again.
You can get an FHA with a 580.
Wow. Okay.
So, and they, depending on the institution, and I don't know if it's by state, but I know like in Missouri, for example, they have an FHA program. It's much more down, but you can have a 560. So the credit score is not as much of an issue, but that debt to income ratio gonna eat them up every time. Every time.
Because you see people, as soon as their credit get good, the first thing they do is go buy a car.
Yes. I've had people, we talked about this before. We get ready to close. We're days from closing. Everything is good. And then my underwriter call and be like, did they just buy a car?
They would have bought a car.
Like, did they buy a vehicle? And I'd be like, no, because we had this conversation. Like, oh, I didn't know. And sure enough, like I had one of my last ones in St. Louis. We were literally days from closing. They went and bought a $70,000 car.
Wow.
Their car was almost $1,000. That pushed their debt to income ratio that there was nothing that we could do. Nothing. So they had spent all this money, your earnest money, your inspections, your appraisals. It was nothing we could do. And they just lost that money. Like some of it, if it's a mistake on our end or like the house goes bad, you can get your money back. If it's your mistake, you just lost it.
You lost that. You lost all the earnest money, the down, you lost all that.
Yep.
I tell clients now, like, one of the first questions we ask, if anybody that's ever been a Pleasant Management client, we ask them, what's your end game? So 9 times out of 10, they're going to be, I want to buy a house.
Right.
And I tell them, if you're going to buy a house, you got to practice a lot of financial discipline and do not buy a car.
Yeah. And not only do not buy a car, so in my mind, in my world, you don't just wake up and say, I'm going to buy a house today. It's kind of a plan. Like you kind of know, like I'm in an apartment, my lease may be up, or I'm going to get married, we're going to buy a house. You typically know. So once you know, start paying some of this stuff up. Clear this debt to income ratio up. Because again, you can make all the money. I'll give you another example. I have a real estate guy here in Charlotte. He owns a brokerage, black guy. Him and his wife got several businesses. They make damn near $20,000 a month. Very good. Younger couple, about my age, so younger-ish. He wanted to refinance their home, and I could not get him approved because the debt to income ratio was too high.
Yep.
$20,000. 20, not like 10 or
right.
They could not, their debt to income
$40 million a year.
And it was because they had really nice house. Like the house was nice. The note was high. They had amazing cars. They had these credit cards that they were using. In theory, it made sense. Like, I'm going to use my card, give my points, do all of that. Right. But that also only makes sense if you paying the card off every month, right?
You got to pay it off every month. Absolutely right.
It off. Like, if this to be used to get the points and you can't pay it off, it's fine if you ain't got nothing to do. But these people not giving you, all the credit cards were almost maxed out. And he was like, but I'm paying. Like, and he was not paying the full amount, but he was making a payment every month.
Interest killing them. Interest killing them.
$700-800 payment.
Killing them.
But the interest rate 20-some-odd%. So you not getting ahead. And it was moments like that that showed me you need to do mortgage because it makes money. But if you get into this consulting piece of it, if you start at the beginning, that's how I'm going to get the client, because I'm showing you how, before I even run your credit and do all of this, I can talk you through what you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
So let's start there first. So that debt to income ratio, it ain't right.
Shamara, I totally understand. I have clients right now, husband and wife, attorneys. The husband is a criminal attorney. The wife is a family law attorney. And when I tell you, they could not get approved for a Walmart card right now because their debt to income ratio is so high. And for those that don't understand, your debt to income means they compare how much money you make after taxes versus how much you owe. And like you said with that couple, my clients, they have the luxury cars. They have the 6-bedroom house, quarter acre. That looks good. You know,
looks amazing.
It looks amazing, but you're stuck right there.
Yep.
You can't grow no further than that. You can't grow no further. So one of the questions I had was, and that's so crazy because one of the questions was, how do you calculate income to debt to income ratio? Okay, one of the questions I have is, are there grants for clothing costs, and do you have to pay it back?
So it just depends on where you're at. Let me say this. Everything is different state to state. I can only speak on Missouri and North Carolina. I don't know about anything else. There are organizations that have grants for down payment assistance primarily. Whether you have to pay it back or not, it depends on a bunch of things. Like some of them, if you stay in your house for 10 years, it's forgiven. Right. If you stay, for a certain amount of time, but you can't refinance, you can't sell it, you can't rent it, has to be your home.
Right.
So it just depends. Like there are available, like all of the down payment assistance organizations, like in St. Louis, for example, Beyond Housing,
right. Urban League,
all of them.
Everybody Life, yeah.
All of them have money. it just, you definitely want to ask, because I've had people fall into that, oh, we'll give you this money, and they get it and think, I'm gonna rent this house out now. Baby, give me my money back. Give me my money back. Like, and they feel like, oh, I can be slick. They won't know I don't live for it. Yes, they will.
Yeah.
They'll
find out. They'll find
They'll
out.
find out.
The
So
mail.
it's just
The mail gonna tell on you. The mail.
every time. Every time. But
Every
they don't
time,
realize
the mail is
that.
gonna tell on you.
Yeah.
And you said something really important too when you said you can't refi for X amount of time. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. When you get those grants, you might not can't refi that house for 2 to 5 years or plus.
And depending on the program, so, and I won't say the name, but it's a program in St. Louis that you can refinance, I think it's like 7 years.
Wow.
Like, this is it. Because they're giving you the money based on your original loan. Like, just because this say if I get a loan through Regions, I may refinance through, I don't know, Welch Fargo or somebody.
Right.
That's not who the original person was.
Right.
So you can't even, so it just depends. Like, the money is there, but I tell people, be very, very careful who you take money from. That's right. Because all money is not going to work how you want it to work. So.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Another question is, do married couples have to both put their names on a mortgage?
No. And nowadays, I've had plenty, I mean, probably more than half, where I advise not do this together.
Right.
That does not mean don't put your name on the deed or whatever you got to do to make sure he or she don't put you out if they get mad. But you very rarely, unfortunately, and it's really our community, I've not had it with my white clients, but with us, it's either one or the other. Either one of y'all got good credit or one of y'all got bad credit.
Right.
One of y'all got a good credit score. The other, like, it's very rare that the couple comes in.
Right. Both got it. Right.
So I tell people all the time, especially if you want to get into like investment properties, no, one at a time. Because you can get you an FHA loan, get you a multi-family union, then your spouse can go get them one too, separately. It doesn't mean like, well, we married and our money is one money. Your money don't have to be one money, baby. Split it up, because now y'all got two properties instead of one.
Two properties instead of one. That's right.
So it just depends on the situation. But I tell people all the time, it just doesn't, everything does not require you guys to do it together.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now, what are some of the quiet costs that most buyers do not understand?
We're going to start with those inspections, because, and I say that because the inspections are going to reveal everything. I've had people, home be beautiful, it's amazing, it's immaculate, the roof messed up, or the foundation isn't right. And sometimes you will have sellers that say, we'll repair that for you. Sometimes they say, no, we're not. So if you've already bought this, then it's on you. We've had people forego inspections. Oh, it's fine. It's okay. We'd be like, not
you want to do this, right?
Not a good idea. Like, during COVID, people were foregoing inspections, and the houses were appraising way lower than the selling price, and they were going for it because they wanted to just buy. Always it's going to backfire every single time. Something else that people never account for, and I feel it's because it's not spoken on enough, the title company. The title company, it's all kind of fees, baby. They getting their money. Like, always, don't just ask, like, what's my down payment? Everybody says, what's my down payment? That's not all the money you coming out of. You have a down payment, then you have a closing cost. Them not the same number. Right. The down payment is just going to be, if it's an FHA, it's 3.5% of the sales price. That's one number. That's not including the origination fee that every single bank has. That's not including the title fee. That's not including your taxes. That's not including your mortgage insurance, depending on what type of loan you're getting. Like, it's a million other costs, literally.
That mortgage insurance could be a deal breaker. That mortgage insurance can be a deal breaker.
For me, and it's just a personal preference, not even a professional one, but personally, I don't want a loan that has mortgage insurance on it.
Right.
Because mortgage insurance does not benefit you at all. Mortgage insurance is if you go into foreclosure, that means the bank get their money back. You still gonna get foreclosed. It's still gonna show up on your credit, and you still owe them people that money. Mortgage insurance does not protect you. It protects the bank. So why am I paying? And I mean, if it's the only kind of loan you can get, by all means, I understand. But why am I paying the extra $200-300 a month? It's not going to my principal. It's not going to my interest.
Right.
It's not going to nothing. It's just to protect somebody else.
And you still gotta get home insurance.
You still have to have everything else. That literally does nothing for the buyer. The only way that I think it never makes sense, but what is doable is like FHA, for example. FHA has mortgage insurance the duration of your loan until you refinance it. But FHA also has much lower credit score requirements.
Mm-hmm.
They also have their down payment is significantly less than a conventional loan. So for some people, it's the only option that, makes more sense to them. But in the long run, to me, you may only be giving me just say $3,500 up front for your down payment. Again, that's still not your closing cost, but you still paying me that money back because now you got this mortgage insurance that's $200-300 extra a month. You might as well have saved your money, put more money down, got a conventional loan. Like it's a lot. So it's a lot. With the mortgage insurance, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Wow. And you actually touched on something when you talked about that whole down payment. Like, how do they calculate income versus the purchase?
So that's still your debt. So it's two different pieces to that. Let me say that. So the first thing, of course, is going to be your debt to income ratio. So now with a mortgage, with the banks that I work with, I'll speak for those. We use your gross. We do use your gross income to calculate this, but also bear in mind your gross is not what you bring home. So it's really a setup in theory.
Right.
But nonetheless,
right.
That's what they use. And the money that they use, like your debt, they're calculating only what's showing on your credit report. So say you got like your car insurance. Most people, that's not on your credit report. So they are calculating what's showing up, which may be the bare minimum. I may have a $25 minimum for my credit card this month. Next month, it may be $400 or $500 because I done spent more, but they are calculating what's on your credit report. That's how they give you this debt to income ratio. But why I say it's a setup is because it's not accurate. Like I said, you still got your cable bill, your electric bill, your everything else in your household. So people are here, oh, my debt to income ratio good because the bank said. The bank not including your daycare. The bank is not including anything else that you have.
Gas, lunch,
groceries. So it's like
that's
how they calculate it. But again, it's not an accurate number. And that's how, in my opinion, outside of like natural disasters and catastrophes and job losses, that's how a lot of people go into foreclosure. And I'll get back to your question, but it kind of led
Go ahead.
But that's how people get foreclosed on. You go to this bank, they see what they see. It look good on paper, but that's not your real life.
Right.
Like me, for example, I don't own a home because no matter how much money I make, I don't make that much money. Right. And I mean that because they not calculating, I get Clark Atlanta over $2,000 a month. That's not on my credit report. I pay car insurance for myself and a 20-year-old. That's not on there. Right. So it looked okay on paper, but in my real life pocket, that's not my real life. Right. And people really get caught up in what a bank said, I can afford a $500,000 house, but you really can't. Like, I really can't. Right. I really cannot.
Right. You really can't.
So I feel like, and that's why I feel the education piece is so good. Because if you don't have a community loan officer, so the difference between a community officer and a regular officer, most community loan officers are not commission-based. They are salary. Right. So what that means is I'm going to get paid regardless. So that's how I've always been. Right. I'm going to get paid. If I tell you don't do this, I still get my check. So I don't.
Right.
But if I'm commission-based, I'm not going to tell you this is not a good idea. Even if I'm looking at it, if the bank approve you, hey, go for it because that's how I get paid.
Right.
And so I tell people you need the education piece first. And you also, if you can find a bank with a community person, and nothing against no other loan officer, don't get me wrong, but it's a whole different level of service. It's a whole different level of transparency.
Honesty.
Honesty, like, because again, and I mean, in their defense, if I don't get because like at most banks, like the actual like salary for a loan officer, it's like $15 an hour or something like that. And then at the end of the month, if you get a month where you don't sell anything, that's really what you made. 15 times 40. That's your paycheck.
Right. Right.
When you do get a commission, they want their money back. It's like a draw. So you're paying them back. So again, your only goal is I gotta sell as much as I can because I got these bills to pay. That's so they are very rarely gonna say, baby, don't do this.
Wow.
Don't do it. So that's how they come up with like what you can afford. It's based off of that debt to income ratio. It's based off of what's reporting on your credit report, which we know isn't everything.
Right.
The only other piece to that I would say is kind of tricky is student loans. Student loans are
right.
It's tricky. And I say this because so like at the previous bank I was at first, if you were in like forbearance like me, I graduated the last time in 2009. I never gave them people no money, and I'm never gonna pay them back.
Same
right?
Here. Same here.
So I've been in forbearance, income based, whatever. It's never gonna happen.
Right.
But so at that old bank, they would say, "Oh, you have a letter that says you're in forbearance," then it's zero. Right. They have a new thing now where if it's a FHA, certain banks may be different, but if it's a FHA loan, they are going to put your monthly payment as 0.5% of your unpaid balance. If it's a conventional loan, they're going to do 1%. This is per month. So like me, I have like $150,000 in student loans, some old foolishness. Imagine them calculating that number into my regular monthly bills, even though I'm not paying them.
Your DTI gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah,
it's gonna be ridiculous. Or then, but you still like the downside is, what if they don't calculate it in there in some kind of way? I done bought this house, but my student loan payments kick in. Like a lot of people's student loan payments just kicked in.
Yeah, it get ready to
kick in.
Absolutely.
And now you got this house. It goes back to just because they say you can afford it does not mean buy it, because you probably cannot. So, yeah, I'm sorry for going.
No, you did amazing, because people need to hear this, because I have a client right now and their boyfriend and girlfriend, they're not even married. Their boyfriend and girlfriend, they went in building their credit. Buy a home. Even though I tell everybody, please do not buy a house, get a multi-unit. This is the benefits. And now they're actually calculating the rent to income from the vacant units. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of benefits from purchasing multi-unit properties, right?
Absolutely.
The girlfriend had this vision. She wanted this big house out in Winsville. The house was like, and they're a young couple. They're both under 30.
Okay.
They purchased the land for the house.
Okay.
Built the house from the ground up, like $470,000.
Okay.
7 months in, struggling.
Yeah.
Struggling.
There is a thing. I mean, house poor is a real thing. Like so another example where people just mess up is the best way I can think to say it. Like with your homeowner's insurance. So people think like, and I learned this from, let me not take credit for this. I have an insurance guy, Carlin Box. He used to work at Country Financial. I don't know where he is now, but he did Q&A with SJ with us last year. And he taught me this. People will get a house and they thinking like house insurance, like car insurance. Like you get with the car, your deductible will be like $500.
Right.
Because if we hit something or mess up something, we got this 500, y'all fix the rest.
Right.
That should not be your mentality with a house. Because again, you should have money saved up that if something happens to this $500,000 house, right, you should not only have $500. So he would tell them, Get a $1,500 deductible. Get 20, whatever the max it out.
Max it out.
Because again, you should have, if you have a repair in your home that's not over $5,000, you should be able to go in your bank or under your bed or whatever you do and pull that out.
That money out.
Not even be an insurance claim.
Right.
Because you're gonna file this claim, it's gonna jack your rate up next year.
Absolutely.
People was filing claims for $1,500, but you in a $500,000 house, you couldn't just fix that on your own.
Pay that on your own, right?
And so, like, that's what I say when I say house poor. People, it look good on paper, but like, it don't be right. People don't be right.
And then people understand also when it comes to home ownership, you're responsible for all the repairs.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I learned. My wife and I, we own several properties, but our primary property that we live in, we rent.
Yep.
and I tell people that they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, listen, the primary property that my wife and I live in, we rent this property. We have a lease for this property because God forbid if it's a hailstorm or tornado, the AC unit goes out.
Yep.
Electrical wiring goes out. I call the landlord, hey, look, my lights went out. He has to send someone over here to repair that. You know, St. Louis is notorious for their storms. If my roof get hit by a tree, I call the landlord, hey, roof got hit by a tree. Yep. He has to repair that.
And people don't think about that.
Understand that concept of that. Like sometimes I understand the American dream because people think that purchasing a home is an investment. And it's only an investment after you've been there for 20 years. And you built up equity. That's when it becomes an investment.
And it's an investment when you make it an investment.
Make it an investment.
You can't just buy it. And this is, again, not my professional, it's my personal opinion. You can't just buy any old thing in any old hood. Don't put no money into it. Don't, fix it up. The neighborhood is not, because I've very much seen people buy houses. That house is not worth no more than it was 10 years from now. Because you're not doing the work. You're not in certain, where you buy your house matters.
I got a young man right now purchase a home, and you understand the Walnut Park neighborhood in St. Louis.
Oh, child.
True story. He purchased a house in Walnut Park. He put about 25, 30,000 into it. The house was like 15,000 when he bought it. And even though he put 25,000 into it, it's still worth 15,000.
Neighborhood matters.
That is in. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right about that. You are absolutely right about that.
Yep. And people just, and again, I tell everybody, buy the house if you want to. Like, be clear, get the house, but you just got to think about, like you said earlier, what's the end goal here?
What's the end goal?
Why are you buying this house? Is it just because you want to own a house?
Right.
Is it because you want to have something to leave for your kids? Is it because you want the equity? Like, what is the end goal?
Because
buying a house is not the end goal.
Like, not only the repairs, the taxes every year.
That are going to go up every
year. Where I live at right now, like literally, this just happened in January, last month. My landlord said, hey, Mo, I have to raise the rent $100. I hope it's not a problem. And you know what I told him? I say, the reason why you're raising the rent is because literally 2 blocks from my house, they just built $700,000 houses. I live in Creve Coeur.
Yep.
Ground up, they just built $700,000 houses 2 blocks from where I'm at. So I know for a fact your personal property tax went up.
Absolutely.
So if you want to charge me an extra $100, I'm cool with that because I understand why. Because I did the same thing to my tenants.
But that's something else.
And I had to do the exact same thing to my tenants.
Hey, Tamara girl. But the thing too,
look, she said purchasing a home is something I'm working towards. Watching this was definitely a must. Yes, it was. It really was. It's a lot that goes into it, and by you knowing her personally, I would advise you to get a 101 consultation before you make that move because
and it's like, so even just an example about the taxes and the insurance going up. My sister and them, beautiful house in Huntsville, $500,000 house, beautiful. Their taxes and insurance went up so high, they was like, Look at this. Like, is this right? They don't tell you that when you buying a house.
Absolutely.
People think, okay, this is my mortgage payment. It's my principal, my interest, my tax. Whatever your mortgage payment is year one, is not your mortgage payment year two.
Absolutely right.
It's not. Absolutely. It's damn sure not year 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Go up.
Right. Taxes going up
every year.
That's right.
Depending on your area. And that again is how people, in my opinion, end up in foreclosure because they don't know. Because if you tell me that my mortgage is $2,500, I can afford $2,500.
Right.
I may not be able to afford $2,800.
Right. That's right.
$3,000.
That's right.
So now I'm in this house. I may or may not be able to refinance because people also, a big misconception that makes me sad for us. Oh, get the rate now. You can just refinance. You know you got to be approved to refinance.
That's right.
A refinance is not a guarantee. I deny refinances all the time.
Right.
So it's not, don't just let nobody, but again, those are certain loan officers. Oh, the rate's high now. Refinance next year. What if I lose my job next year? I got to be on my job for 2 years or be in my line of work for 2 years. Like me, when I change jobs, I change jobs. It'd be like I was the police. Yeah, I was the police this year. Now I work at a bank this year. Now I work. So for me, like I got to get it like right when it's good because more than likely I'm not even gonna be in the same line of work every 2 years because that's how I pivot. Right. So if I get a house in 2024, what if I change jobs this year? So now I got to start over. This is year one again. So now I can't refinance to 2027.
Right.
Because I got to be in my line of work. People don't know this.
They don't know that. You have to be in the same consistent line of work for 2 years.
People swoop them up.
People, when it comes to purchasing a home, most of those mortgages are 20, 25, and 30-year mortgages. Uh-huh. And the way the economy is right now, and I say that to say this, I have friends in Miami right now. The cost of living is killing them.
Yeah.
They're working full-time job, part-time job, and selling drugs just to make it.
Yeah.
Right? That's how bad the economy is in Miami. So I tell them, move to the Midwest, move down south. Like, pack your things up and move like the Beverly Hillbillies. Get the hell out of there because you can't afford it. Just because you can go to South Beach when you want to, it's not worth the price of the life that you got to live and struggle in Miami.
Yeah.
A lot of them can't because they have a mortgage on a house.
And then people too, you saying that also brings up a good point. Like here in Charlotte High, like, I don't know what some of these people do for a living. I'm going to figure it out, though. I only been here for a year. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to start doing it. But people want to live in Charlotte because it's the cool thing to do. It's where everything is at. Right. You're not buying nothing safe under $400,000 in Charlotte. You're not. You can find it. It's going to be real shaky. It's going to be somewhere where you're not going to have no company, and you probably going to need boys on your window and your door. But if you go outside of Charlotte, go to like the little, go about 30 minutes, because everything 30 minutes away anyway. Right. But go out a little bit. You can find these new construction, these new builds, you can find those outside, but people get so caught up in, I want to live in Miami. I want to live in Charlotte. I want to live
Houston, Texas, Dallas, Atlanta.
Go outside the areas. Just go about 30 minutes outside and you can get what you're looking for. It's going to be a drive, but I would rather live outside and be able to afford where I live and have something nice. Example, where I'm at now, and I didn't know no better because I'm not from here.
Right.
Where I live at now, I live in a 1-bedroom because it's just me and the dog. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. In St. Louis, I live in the Central West End. Mayor Cruson was my neighbor, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
I know exactly where you lived at.
I pay almost $700 more to live in this 1-bedroom in Charlotte because of the area that I'm in.
Wow.
Because of the area. And again, I'm okay because I came here by myself. I didn't know nobody. I wanted to be safe. But people get, when my lease is up, I'm leaving. Be clear. But people get caught up in living in like certain neighborhoods. I want to live in a certain city.
Right.
Step outside of that. Like I was just telling my sister today, it's places that I'm looking at to move in October. I can get double what I have now and not pay what I'm paying now.
Right.
I am paying because of the
It looks
location.
just as nice. It looks just as nice. Absolutely.
If not nicer, and it's bigger, it's just the area. So people gotta also come off of that. Oh, I only want to live here. This is I need to live in this neighborhood, that neighborhood. Go outside a little bit further, baby. I promise you're gonna get more.
You can get more bang for your buck. That's what I call it. More bang for your buck. Now, you know, right now we see a lot of real estate scams that's going on right now. Like recently here in St. Louis, in University City, a young lady paid like $8,000 to move into a house in U City, and she moved into the house with her 2 children, single mom. And after maybe a month of being there, the actual owners came to the property and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, we did not sell you this house. This is our property." But apparently, when it comes to those lock boxes, right now you can get the combination online. You can go on Zillow or whatever and say, "Hey, look, I want to see the house." They're sending the combination to the lockbox. So I assume that when she had the combination to the lockbox, she thought everything was okay.
Right.
So what are some of the advice that you may be able to give to avoid real estate scams?
So even when it comes to renting properties, still talk to a real estate agent. There are a lot of agents who do rental properties, right? Or talk to somebody. Like the title company is now my best friend because now I know what they're for and what they do. They can tell you who. I had a house in St. Louis, a family. They wanted to buy this house, sounded good to me. They could not buy the house because there was all kind of liens on it and stuff that I wouldn't have known as a loan officer because that's not even my job to find that.
Right.
So like people try to, I don't need no real estate agent. I'm not giving them my money. You very much need them. Even if you're just renting. Because my auntie Lynn and them just went through a thing recently with this particular rental company, and they have a horrible reputation. I of course won't say their name, but once my cousin told me, I was like, "Oh, they not right. It ain't gonna be right. Like I know they not right," and it wasn't. And they tried to keep her money, and like we'll find you something. Their houses couldn't pass inspection. How you tell me you done took my money and now I can't move in because you can't pass inspection, but it's your house and this is your property? Because it wasn't their property.
Right.
Because if it's your property, you can go in and fix your property, right? Everybody got an uncle that can go fix something.
Right.
So even when you going through these quote unquote big companies, talk to either an agent or call somebody at a title company. I don't know what the price. I mean, I would just call the title company and say, "Can y'all look this up?" I'm sure there's a fee associated with it. I'm not sure what it is, but don't ever just take like, you cannot sell me a house. You, Timothy, cannot sell me a house.
Right.
Because if I'm not an experienced real estate professional, I don't know if you're lying to me or not. I don't even know where to look.
That's right.
So always consult. And again, not just like, if you're buying it, of course, we'll figure it out. But the renting, get you an agent, title company, look up the taxes, like look up the house online. Don't just take anybody's word for it. Because again, once you gave them your money,
you stuck.
That's it. That's just it.
You know, I want to piggyback off of what you said with that title company. So what my wife and I have been doing in St. Louis, we've been looking for neighborhoods that are gentrifying.
Oh,
and we've been purchasing lots, empty, like vacant lots, right?
What?
And we just bought our 3rd vacant lot maybe 3 months ago.
Okay.
This happened with the 3rd lot. We purchased a lot from the owner. We did a quick claim deed on it. We went downtown, paid the back taxes on it because there used to be a house there. So we had to pay like, and it was less than $1,000. It was very well worth it. So 3 months after, true story, 3 months after we transferred the lot into her name, because I've been putting all these lots in her name because I'm trying to separate us. All right. So she gets a bill from the water company for $2,700. True story.
I can believe it.
So I called the water company. I said, "Hey, no, what's going on? We just bought this lot. It's an empty lot. There is no building there." He said, "Well, the previous owners when it was a building there, they had a water bill, a sewer bill for $2,700.
Yep.
And that's what's owed. So now since you purchased that property, that bill is transferred over to you.
You've inherited that.
And we went back and forth, back and forth. You know, the guy asked me,
what?
He said, did you go through a title company?
Yeah. And again, but I feel like this is something that we don't know. We don't. Why would I go through a title company to get land in my mind outside of my profession? Why would I don't need you. And we also, we as Black people, not saying you guys, but just in general, we don't want to, I ain't paying nobody to do that. I can do that myself. I ain't giving y'all my money. Baby, get him your money before you make a mockery out of your damn self.
Right.
Get him your money, because I would rather pay a title company or even, like I said, a real estate agent a fee, because they can find out a lot of stuff. I would rather give y'all whatever y'all fee is to be safe than be sorry. Right. Because again, you can pay, think you own something, somebody can come back and say, oh no, it's a lien on this. It's this. I had a guy, his mama had took out a lien on this house 20 some odd years ago. The place that she took the lien out with no longer even existed. Black family in Jennings. He was trying to buy the house from her. She was older. He wanted to buy it. He could not buy that house until they paid their money. The place that she owed the money did not even exist. The only way that we called it is because the title company called it. The lady had no record, and she was alive still. She was like, I took the money out, but like that was 20 years ago. Like, I don't know. He could not, and the house had been paid for. Her regular mortgage been paid for. She could not sell that house because she owed that money. Wow. So just imagine if he had just said, oh, this is just my mama, I'll just give you the money, and here we go. That would have never been that man's legal house.
Wow.
Because somebody had a lien on it. Title company.
Wow. That's and I see that often. Like, again, most of my clients, they always tell me, oh, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. And I ask them, why do you want to buy a house? Mm-hmm. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. You're paying $1,500 a month rent versus I could be paying that in a mortgage. I get it, because in your mind, you're thinking you own this house, and you really don't own that house. The bank owns that house. You don't own anything. No. And I even tell clients,
no.
right. And I tell myself, you know something? Instead of you focusing on buying a house, focus on buying life insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, focus on life insurance. Like,
or like you said, just focus on do investment properties. Do something that's going to
absolutely
make you money back. That's something else that I learned. Like, of course, we didn't grow up with anybody owning, homes.
Nothing. Right. Nothing.
And so, and I never wanted a home. Like, when my sister and them got one, I'm like, oh, I want one now too. Like, that's my little sister. Like, how dare you get a house and I don't got no house?
Right.
But I had to think about it. In my particular situation, I am a single female. My baby will be 21 this year. I have space. If he needs to come on home. But I know my son, he probably will never have to come back home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do I need a big old house for me to live in for?
For your ego.
For my ego. Why do I need that when I can do it? Airbnb, I can do short-term rental, I can just rent this house out, I can get a duplex, I can do all of these other things. But it crossed my mind, and that just goes to show how the ego will play with you. I know better.
That's right.
I know better.
Right.
But I saw them with the house, and it's not a jealousy thing. It's just I want one too. I can do this too.
That's right.
I can do it too. And then I had to think about it. They're a family. It's her husband, and their children. They got dogs and trampolines and swings and shit.
Right.
It's just me and the dog.
What you need a 5-bedroom house for?
To keep up with the Johnsons. To keep up with my sister and them.
And I think that happens a lot with us. You know what I mean? Because even in our neighborhoods, when you drive down Natural Bridge and you see a 2022 Benz parked in front of a house on Natural Bridge and Fern, you're like, what the? You know what I mean? Like, you could have took that same energy and effort and bought you an investment property, but because you're trying to show off for your friends, your ego is big, You had to show people I got it too.
And so I'm funny with that one. I agree with everything you said. But so like me, for example, when, you know, I left my ex-husband and all this kind of stuff, and I was finally able to do certain stuff for myself.
For yourself?
I couldn't wait to go get a brand new car. I'm finna do these things.
That was a part of your healing.
It was a part of my healing. Me and my son was just talking the other day. And I was like, I will probably never buy a brand new car again. And I say that because, for one, I wanted to accomplish doing it myself. I love my car. It's cute, all of that. But in reality, I'm giving y'all a whole lot of dang on money for something that every time I drive it, the value goes down.
Goes down. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I get us as Black people because most of us did not come from much. So when we do get something, we are so excited and we are so proud, and it's such an accomplishment. Right. But where I'm at now, it's not an accomplishment no more. Every time I look at my car, and I love it, and I'm like, I'm really giving y'all like $700 a month for this car.
Not including the insurance.
So again, like, I feel like some stuff we deserve and we want. And I worked hard to get to that spot, you know, credit wise. And I had been with him, and I just needed to do it for me. But now that I've done it,
right,
I don't ever need a new car again. Like, I've proved my point to myself that I can. And I ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody else.
What you're saying right now is such a huge part of mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that you and I both are sharing right now is what up, Mike? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you're saying right now is such a huge part of mentorship. Like, people need to know this is where I made a mistake at, and had I been able to do it again, this is what I would have done. Because even now, my wife and I, we have 4 vehicles. They're each 2022 to 2024. Because her Camaro is a 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And my debt, and I put it all under my name on purpose. Because so I know my debt to income is like jacked up. Like, I'm done for the next 2 years. Like, I'm not I'm done for the next 2 years. Like, so everything now is in her court because I put everything in my name. But we did it because we used those vehicles as another revenue source on Turo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not just riding up and down the street looking cute, dropping the top. Like, no, you could go on Turo right now and get that Camaro from 1 day to a year if you want it. Like, we don't care.
But see, that's for something like, something like that, that makes sense. But again, and I always use me as the example. That ain't why I did it. I did it to be like, it's 21. I got a 22. Yeah. I did that. Like, it's my ego. And like I said, in hindsight, I look back and I don't regret anything. It's all been an experience. But so much of what I used to do was for my ego.
Right.
It logically made no sense. Like, logically.
Let me show you. Yeah, let me show you.
And like you said, part of the mentorship, I tell people, I'm never the one, because I'm a live, because I feel like I could die tomorrow. So I'm going to very much enjoy every single day. Here, I'm not really like restricting myself on a lot of stuff, but some stuff just logically don't make sense.
Don't make sense.
Like you said, if you're not going to put it on Turo, or if it's not going to make you income, why am I giving these people $700 a month? I can take that $700 plus what I'm paying in my rent. I can have all kind of stuff.
Right.
But my ego put me in an apartment that costs damn near $2,000 a month. My ego put me in a car that cost me $700 a month.
Right.
When in theory, like, did I really need to do all of this?
Right. Right.
It was cute. Like, I did it. But now what?
And I tell my wife, had I not been with her, I wouldn't have done it. Because I was happy driving my 2017 Malibu that I paid $800 for, never had a mechanical issue with. Low key, ride through any neighborhood, nobody looked twice. Like, I was cool driving that Malibu. But then it was like, once I became more financially literate, and I'm like, okay, I need to create more money. Now I look at I don't look at possessions as possessions. I look at possessions as investments.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
Even our house, like, we get ready to relocate to Charleston, South Carolina, which is 3.5 hours away from you. So you'll be seeing a lot of us.
I'll be there. Yeah.
But even then, it's like our house that we have now, we're going to Airbnb it.
Yep.
I already talked to my neighbor. She's going to be our Airbnb manager. We worked out the process, and she's right next door.
Right.
So now think about this. We rent our primary residence. We rent this house. We rent it. I'm on a 3-year lease. I talked to the owner. I said, hey, look, I'm in a situation. I got to go to South Carolina for a while. I still have to pay you rent. So I'm going to Airbnb the property. So I pay you your rent. And I have our next door neighbor who's been there for 30 years who's going to manage it.
Right.
Goes, no problem.
Yep.
So now instead of me paying the $1,700 a month rent that I'm paying her for this 4-bedroom, 3-car garage house in Creve Coeur, I could potentially make $4,000 a month off this property.
A lot of people don't think like that though, but I feel like people don't think like that because that's not what we're taught.
We're not taught
That's
that.
not what we see other people around us doing.
Right.
Katrina, somebody said something in the comment about.
Can you find it, Darius? Okay, Katrina said, bought my first house at 23, lost it when the market crashed and never planned to buy another one. I found it to be overrated.
I feel like, again, it's all about your end goal. I happen to know her personally. She has a smaller family. She has a daughter that's getting ready to go to college and, be about her business. So it's just her and the little one. Again, what if she wants to buy a house, by all means, but what does she need all of that for?
What's the end goal? Right.
What's the end goal? I think that if more people started asking themselves that one question, it would change everything.
You know what some people are doing? They're doing bread and breakfast. If you got a 3-4 bedroom house, create a bed and breakfast with the house. Rent out a room to college students. Yeah, it's so many ways to make income. I had someone tell me, her and her husband split. She's down in Tampa, Florida. Her and the husband split. She's in a 4-bedroom house, mortgage like $3,500, $4,000 a month. I said, why don't you rent out bedrooms? I don't want strangers in my house. So you would rather go into foreclosure. You would rather go into foreclosure because you can't afford it. So you would rather go into foreclosure than saying, okay, pay me $1,000 a month for this room, $1,000 a month for this room.
And the thing about it, with the way that the economy is now, more people actually rent rooms than you rent. I didn't know. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know it was a thing. When I think of renting a room, Lord forgive me, I'm like, oh, what type of little drug addict is this? Like, little halfway house you running her? But I didn't know no better. Yeah. But now I know people that are like, it's me by myself. I don't have no kids, no dog, no nothing. I don't want to pay $1,700 a month. I'm gonna pay this room. They did background checks. There are rules.
All that. Absolutely.
I have a lady that I know. She used to be my friend, bless her heart. But this lady that I know, she rents a room and she's been there, as far as I know, a couple years. Yeah. No issues.
Yeah.
No issues at all. So it's like people don't think about that. Yes, it's a stranger in your house, but do your background checks. Do your credit checks. Do your due diligence. Have rules and regulations. Lock up where you don't want them to be in. Make it a legitimate business.
Airbnbs do that all the time. It's certain Airbnbs that I may get. It's certain sections of the house that you can't go in.
You can't even go in.
You know what I mean? Like certain rooms have a padlock on it, or you can't use the garage, and right now in Miami, there's a thing called an efficiency, where they take the garage and convert it into like a 1-bedroom kitchenette.
Yep.
And they're renting for $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
$2,000 a month for a kitchenette.
Yep.
Again, that's the economy that we live in right now. You got to figure out ways how you can't just sit back and sulk and be depressed. Like if you have any type of space, I come from the strip club industry.
I know.
In the strip club industry, they had a thing called the some people call it the private dance area or the champagne room. But guess what? They were renting space. They were renting a closet-sized space for you and someone to go and have a good time for a certain period of time. But it came with nothing but space. They were renting space. That's all it was. Yeah. So if you have a house that has a basement, that has an extra bedroom, rent it.
I agree.
Airbnb. Do you have Airbnb hosts that actually live in the property?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the things that I'm working on with my son, you know. And I also tell people, anywhere, and I can only speak for HBCUs because that's all I know. Anywhere there's an HBCU, I assure you there's a housing crisis. Every single year, there are parents, because I'm in all the parents groups, because I'm that parent, that kids are from Florida, Chicago, Texas. They get to Atlanta, they don't have housing. Rather because, and I really don't think it's ever the school's fault. Let me be clear. It's definitely some other stuff on the parents' end. I'll just leave it at that because we've never had an issue.
Right.
But it happens every single year. And so now you're forced to go in the neighborhood and find your kids somewhere to live because you done paid tuition. You can drop their ass off. Now what?
You stuck.
So you got to find them somewhere to live. So the people that live in these areas that own these houses, the rent may have been just say $1,800. But now I know you in the bind, it's 22, it's 25 because you don't have a choice. So I tell people, if you are in a city that has an HBCU, buy anything. Fix it up, make it nice for the kids. It's easy income. They can take their financial aid and pay your rent up. They can do anything. I told my son.
That's some good game right there. That's some good. You dropping the gym right now.
Listen.
You dropping the gym right now.
My son, he's working, you know, he Airbnb. They finna get another one. Airbnb it out during the summer. Come home in the summertime. Save your money because he work, you know, do whatever you do. Let them pay your Airbnb money. Then when you come back to school, now you have somewhere to live. But say you coming home on a weekend, Airbnb it out. You in Atlanta. Atlanta is always popping.
Always popping.
Now you have somewhere to stay. You have an income source. And like I said, anytime if you just need some money, I got friends in Atlanta. You can go to Shamika house and stay the week, Airbnb it out, there go your money.
That's right.
So any place that has an HBCU. So, you know, my sister and them are in Huntsville, Alabama A&M. Housing crisis. Every single year there's a housing crisis.
Wow.
Find out where the HBCUs are at, get you a piece of property, and I guarantee you're going to make your money. Guarantee.
That's a big gem. And you dropped a big gem right there. I've never heard that before.
I know.
You dropped a big gem right there. Huge one. A huge gem. And I want to say this emphatically. Like, I am so proud of your son. I watched him when he crossed over. He's a Kappa man now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched the excitement. I watched the tears that flowed down your face from a happiness. And I want to say that I'm proud of you as a mother, as a single mother.
Yes. Because
you prove that single women of color can produce young, great men. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like he is a good one. He's a very, very good one. Like I said, I would do anything for him. Anything for him. So,
thank you, Michelle.
Hey, Darius, do we have any questions to address? And also, guys, we're going to be doing this once a month with us because I think we have a hell of a chemistry. And we're probably going to be talking about other issues other than real estate, maybe book writing, grant writing.
Yes.
Because I think right now, for what I understand, a lot of grants are being approved.
They are. So I am shameless plug. So I have created the Stevens Institute of Excellence. So, you know, I grant write, I write books, I do all of this stuff. But again, I want to focus on the education piece. So I have moved from writing grants to teaching organizations and people how to write their own grants, right? So, because I believe in people, when I first started, they were like, why would you teach somebody something that makes you money? You're not SJ. You're not going to do it like I do it. So I teach you Like it's still not the
right.
biggest experience.
That's
but
right.
What I've learned is, I had a guy, NFL player, and a guy from St. Louis. They do this organization every year, and they were like, "We just gonna pay you." And I'm like, "I don't want you to pay me." And it's a NFL player, professional. I don't want you to pay me. Find somebody that y'all trust. I'll teach them how to. Now y'all gonna pay me to teach you how to write y'all grants.
Right, right.
Because I firmly believe if I teach you how to do it, you can't go wrong. If you're paying me every single time, grants are not guaranteed for one.
Right.
You can pay me $5,000 and you may not get nothing out the deal.
Right.
But
and now they're talking bad about you.
But if you take this same $5,000 and it don't cost that much, you take the same money, invest in somebody on your team. Let me help you build your team. Right. Let me help you put something in place where you ain't got to call me unless you want me to like consult or, maybe give you some extra information. Let me teach you how to make your own money. Right. There is so much grant money out here. There is so much money out here. You just got to know how to get it. You got to know how to write a story. You have to know how to, a budget is a big one. People think, and it makes me sad sometimes, I got an LLC. I can go get a grant. Baby, no, you can't. Go somewhere and sit down.
No, you can't. Right. No, you can't.
I don't know what Instagram scammer told you that, or they'll have I got a list of 1,000 grants guaranteed. There's no such thing.
No guarantee.
Now you can get a loan. I can guarantee to get you approved for a loan.
With the right credit score.
But I can't guarantee you no grant on no
Right.
And so I'm just real big on the education piece. So this year I will be doing a free class every month, at least one on a different topic. March is the Book Writing Academy. It'll be about an hour and a half, give or take. And I'm going to teach people, because what I learned when I did the round table that we did together, I made $30,000 off of that one book.
Wow.
Because for one, how we built it up, the blog, the round table, the book, of course, went instantly crazy. That was really without me even knowing half of what I know now. That was in 21.
Now, is that under SJA_building.com?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Darius, put that in the comments. SJSbuilding_.com.
You're not going to get on my nerves, Katrina. It's all good. I promise you're not going to get on my nerves. But I'm going to teach people because, again, as a single mother, I know passive income matters to me. I have a good job and I still work a part-time job because I'm a domestic violence advocate. That's my passion. That's my wheelhouse. Right. So I'm going to keep a full-time job no matter what a part-time job no matter what I make. But that passive income makes a difference.
Huge difference.
And huge. So
difference.
I can teach you how to write this book, how to market this book, how to publish this book, how to do it yourself. You ain't even got to pay me to do it for you. I'm going to show you how to do it yourself. As long as I tell people, my goal, and it's a small goal, but it's just how I feel. Long as I make $100 a month in my own business, a day, that's 2-3 books. That's 2-3 books. 3 books if you buy a certain one. 3 books a day. That pays my son tuition. Mm-hmm. That pays my son car note. Mm-hmm. That pays things that I would have to pay anyway. But once I do this work one time, I don't got to keep on doing it again.
That's right.
So write the book. What we learned from that Why the F Did I Just Get Married? The series on TikTok, on viral.
That girl took off.
People nosy.
Off.
People are nosy.
Right.
When you reach the level of vulnerability to tell some stuff like that, people don't listen. We all got a story. Write the book, baby. They gonna read it because they nosy.
And so when you talk about passive income, and this goes back to Darius. Darius was like, Mo, how many people do you talk to a day doing consultations for credit? I said, man, I probably talk to 10 to 15 people a day. And out of 10 to 15 people a day, I may get 2 clients that actually pay the fee. You know what I'm saying? But even with the other 12 to 13 that don't pay, they may come see me 3, 4, 6 months from now. You know what I'm saying? So I planted the seed. He said, well, what if you charge $10 for a consultation? I said, you know something? I never thought about that. Let's do it. So just that $10 consultation is now became a $50 a day passive income. And that was off his record, something I would have never done.
Yeah.
And also that $10 separates that $10, that $10 separates who's serious about repairing that credit and who's not serious about just $10 cost me my time.
Yep.
Because
And not only
people send me a DM, hey man, I want to talk to you about my credit. I say, hey, no problems. Schedule an appointment. I sit on my calendar, schedule an appointment. I never heard from him again. Over $10. So that lets me know
you wasn't serious.
You wasn't serious. Like,
because you can't even afford me if you can't give me $10.
$10
like
for
the real fee, you can't. It's something else that I've learned. Like, people always say, like, well, you gonna do this for free, or you gonna teach somebody this. The more free stuff, the reason why I decided to do these free classes once a month, I'll do home buying, I'll do credit, I'll do the book writing, I'll do the grant writing. Be clear, there's a paid option coming at some point.
Absolutely, right.
But this is me establishing my credibility. The one thing I stand on that makes me me, I stand on everything I say.
That's right.
I know exactly what I say I know, right? So I don't mind doing podcasts or doing a free class, and I'm going to give you the game because, again, I can tell you exactly what I did. You still probably going to need help. And now you trust me because I gave you the game, right? So now when you need the help, you're not going to say, oh, let me call Keisha and them or let me Google it. You're going to say, let me call SJ.
That's right.
So I have no problem giving you the game from A to Z. Like, I am not a gatekeeper because, again, times are hard. Especially, like I said, single mothers or because it's me.
That's right.
I'm going to tell you everything you need to do because I'm guaranteed when you need the extra help, I'm who you're going to come back to.
And I say the exact same thing because, and I tell clients, the reason why you hire us is not because you can't do this. The information is out there. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, books. The difference between us and you is that we have the time to do it. That's all we do. All we do is a credit repair, a credit building, credit restoration, business funding. We have the time. We know what you need to do without you taking a guess at it. Like, I don't know, it's like what you were writing books and grants. They don't have to guess at what to do. You know exactly what they need to do. So I'm going to leave the last closing remarks to you. And also, guys, we're going to do this every month. Like I say, me and Shamara, we have a chemistry that cannot be broken. We might take this shit on the road. Shit, I mean.
Let's go.
You might. Hey, everybody else doing it. Like, hey, we might take this on the road. Like, they got a podcast coming to St. Louis that talk about relationships, and they sold out.
The conversations with something. I said it came here. Yeah.
They sold out.
It was sold out here too.
I was like, are you serious?
For a regular old conversation.
Regular old conversation.
Yep.
And Darius is the one that's putting the battery in my back. Darius like, hey man, you've been through a lot in life. People need to hear your story.
I love it.
How many times you fell off and came back, fell off and came back?
I was telling somebody, like, I always, as highly as you speak of me is the same as I speak of you. I tell people all the time, like, we got these gurus and we really can't verify nothing that they talking about, right? We can't verify where y'all came from. We can't verify what y'all really did. Like, you can make anything look good on social media.
Right.
I said, this man, I can verify. Like, I've watched him be a millionaire, get sent back to prison. Be a millionaire, get sent back to prison. Like, I've seen. So, like, everything that he is saying, I know to be true. I remember when you first came home this last time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've seen this with my own eyes. So it's a different level of, I trust you because, again, I've seen it with my own eyes, but it's the transparency.
Right.
It's the transparency.
I don't have it.
Yeah, which is why I don't mind talking about, the bad stuff and I filed bankruptcy, I'm divorced, I'm this, I'm that. Because, again, now you get to see where I am now. I ain't made up nothing I said.
That's right.
All verifiable. I can't tell you nothing that I've not gone through myself.
That's right.
The same thing with the book. That's why this book writing academy. So many people, I got a story, I don't know where to start. Give me a second. I'm going to tell you where to start.
That's right. That's
and
right.
I can tell you because I did it. And so I just feel like I am whatever you own, I'm on. Whatever you
and you know, the first book that I ever wrote, I was a side man in her marriage. 10 Things I Learned Dating a Married Woman. When I wrote that book, the feedback that I got from men that were in similar situations I was in was astounding. Yeah. Even with women that had dated married men. When I tell you my DMs, I would wake up and have 40, 50 DMs.
I can believe it.
People like, yo, your book really, it helped me to understand what trauma bonding was. It really helped me to understand what narcissism was. It helped me to understand that narcissism can come from a man or a woman. Because I went through an ordeal, me being me. Like, I was felt like I was that dude. Like, you can't do this to me. Yeah, she did that to me.
I was gonna say, and she did.
And she did. Like, she did that to me. And for me to write that book was so therapeutic. Yeah. And the fact that it helped hundreds of people. Like, that book still sells on Amazon. I still get residual income from that book right now on Amazon. Like, right now. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell you, when I first started writing this book and telling people, like, I didn't know what trauma bonding was until I started doing research. And I'm like, this is a real thing. Like, there are people in relationships right now that are based off trauma bonding. And they have read my book and went, oh, wow, I need help.
Yeah. Like, I don't even like this person for real.
I don't even like
I don't even like them. I am just here because of this bull crap that we share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I tell you, when I put that in my book and then I explain how I slowly fell into the entrapment, people actually understand how I allowed this person to pull me away from my children, away from my family. And I'm that dude, like.
Oh, I read it. Remember, I read it before it was even a published book.
I sent you the first.
I read the first. So I was like, this ain't the tea of my nose. What is this? But it happens. I mean, it's no different than the stuff with old boy when I wrote the book.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I was like,
how? Me.
Shamara, with your pretty self.
Right. Me.
You out here, you didn't let this man make a mockery out of you? Like, how did you allow this to happen?
Right.
And that's why it was so important for me to tell that story, because it was like, if it happened to me, and I like to think I'm not a dummy, I'm educated,
right.
Like, I'm not looking for a baby daddy, like, I'm solid.
Right.
And this man still managed to do all of these horrible things that he did to me and surrounding me and involving me, and I fell for it. Had the first, second, and fifth lady not called me, I may still be going through the foolishness. So it's like, that's why it's so important to talk, tell people, share your story. Everybody go through something. It don't matter who you are.
And I want our audience to know that the purpose of this conversation now is to show you that how transparent we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally share our stories. We have written our stories, and I'm actually writing my third book, Why Do Lions Roar? Talking about my experience in prison. This book is going to be this is going to be a blockbuster. I'm going to leave the last few minutes to you. I'm thinking every second, third Wednesday of the month.
I'm with you. Listen, you tell me, and
I'm going to put a whole title behind it. Time with SJ. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and we just going to vibe off you, because you're like me. Like, you could just throw a topic in the air
and talk
and roll. Just go with it. So in closing, what would you like to share? What you got going on? What's the dates? What's your websites, Instagrams?
Okay. First of all, thank you again so much for having me. I love these conversations with you. I appreciate you more than you probably ever would know. The next thing I have going on is March the 12th. I am doing my free book writing seminar. There's a flyer circulating. I'm going to keep posting it every single day, because there are very specific rules to RSVP. You have to text me. You can't do none of the stuff that y'all be making. I'm going to send her an inbox. You cannot do anything but follow the RSVP. Hey, Shonda girl. So I'm doing that March the 12th. My next free academy will be in April. It will be the Grant Writing Academy. I am also going to have a digital course coming out, a digital book writing academy, a digital grant writing academy.
Wow.
I also, yes.
You ain't playing. Hey, 2024, you is not playing.
Baby, I pay tuition out of pocket. Like,
right.
So,
right.
I also, like Mo said, I am a 6-time author. I just released my 6th book. It is a workbook. It is the accompaniment to the book that he showed, the Book of Affirmations. It's part 2 of that. You got to order yours too, Tim.
I shall tonight.
But it's part 2. So it is a workbook. It is a combination of where I'm at now. So we're going to talk about the affirmations. We're going to get excited about doing business. But I also now realize that spiritually, you got to be on track to be successful in pretty much anything. And that don't mean go to church. That don't mean you got to believe in something. You got to be grounded in something, right? You have all the money in the world, but if you're not right spiritually, whatever that means for you, you're going to have chaos. Money does not equate to happiness. Money makes life happier in certain situations, but you see all these rich folks committing suicide and carrying on. That's how you know money.
Man, keep preaching. Give me 2 more minutes of this. I need give me 2 more minutes of this. You giving me chills right now. Keep preaching. Keep preaching.
So, I've just learned it's about balance. We need to have our business together. We need to have our finances together. Right. We need to be spiritually together. So this workbook is really just a combination of all of those things. Because again, where I'm at now, initially my goal was I want the money. Give me the money. Give me the money. And then I got the money and still wasn't happy. I was like, wait, like I'm not check no more. I got this, that, and the other, but I'm still not happy.
That's right.
And so that's what showed me it's more to it than just that. So the workbook is perfect. If you have a business, if you're trying to start a business, it goes over like your personal manifesto. I'm a church girl now, so it's got prayers for tough times. It's talking about like, who is your tribe? We got our family tree. Who is your friendship tree? Like, who is your motivation? Who do you call when you having a bad day? Who you call when you want to go to brunch and get mimosas and fall in the bushes?
That's right.
Who do you call when it's a bad?
That's right.
Who do you? Because what I also realized, like I know a lot of people, and I've had friends since middle school, and I've met a ton of amazing people here in Charlotte. Everybody is not my friend, right?
That's right.
I'm still learning that the hard way, but everybody is not my friend.
Prison taught me that. I learned that in prison.
I'm still learning it because you know what? And this is just a sidebar. What I've noticed, people will hate you because of how people love you.
Yes. Oof.
And I'm like, I may be a lot of things, but like I'm a really genuine, solid person. And can't nobody say Shamara did 1, 2, 3 to me. Why you don't like me? You don't like me because everybody loves me. And I had to come to grips with that, right? And so I just know like it's so many levels to this friendship thing. It's so many levels to who you can share stuff with. It's so many levels to a friend, an associate, a business person. Right. And it's really about figuring out who your people are. Right. I had to figure out who my tribe was. I can like you, love you. We can go kick it. That don't mean I'm going to tell you my business. I got a friend, Crystal, and I pump her name up every time. Crystal Bailey. She's a nurse in St. Louis. Crystal got me through this last book, start to finish. Crystal ain't no author. Crystal she's in school. She has kids. She got everything going on. I can text that lady at midnight and say, I'm stuck. Help me. She going to respond back.
Shay, what I tell people? Ask yourself, if you caught a flat tire at 2:00 in the morning, who would you call? That's who you need to be spending your time with.
And that's what I had to learn. Like, just because somebody want to be around you, it's a video going around social media. People will be your friend for the aesthetic of being your friend.
That's right.
You want to be my friend because if we go out, the men gonna buy us drinks because sis like men to buy drinks, right? That don't make you my friend. Right. That don't make you my friend. That's you can buy every book I got, but if you turn up your nose every time somebody else buy one, you're not my friend.
That's right.
You can fall out with me because a man talking to me that didn't talk to you, you not my friend.
My friend, that's right.
Just because you around me don't mean that you my friend, right?
See, I had to learn that lesson during my incarceration because I caught my federal case in Miami. And the feds operate differently, like based off the address you're being released to, that's the closest other prison they're gonna send you to. So I was like, okay, I could stay in Florida, but my children are in Missouri. So let me go somewhere closer to my children because I may be able to get a friend, at least bring my kids to visit me. Listen, I was 4 hours away in a federal prison. It's called Forest City, Arkansas. I sat in that prison for 2.5 years. Hundreds of people knew where I was at. Know how many people came to see me?
I believe it.
Wrote, sent pictures. And I'm talking about I helped.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And for a while, I was bitter. But then it was an OG that told me something that holds true to this day. He said, if you did something for somebody expecting something in return, then you didn't do it from your heart.
And for the right reasons. And I agree with that. But I'm going to also say this. And this is where I think I mess up at still now. I don't do anything to get anything back. But I damn sure don't expect the people that I do stuff for to then turn around and stab me in the back, right?
Right.
Like, I'm in a situation now, and again, I stand on I ain't did nothing to this person, like you just being a weirdo.
Right.
But when I fall out with somebody, I don't talk about it. Right. You will never know. I don't talk to this person. You may notice it, but you will never hear it from me, right?
Right.
Baby, this lady that went around inboxing everybody, telling her side of the story. Sis, ain't no side. There is no side. But that's how you know that people were never genuinely your friends to begin with, right? Because my intention was never to be like, be my friend. Now I'm not talking to her or him, so don't you do it. Love who you gonna love, right?
Right.
But to see somebody go out of their way to intentionally try to get people to feel a way about me, baby.
Hey, what Daddy used to say, if you want to get rid of somebody in your life, loan them some money.
Loan them some money and actually start winning. Start doing something that they can't do. Start doing something that they want to do, but they ain't got the courage to do. It's gonna
the people that give you are the ones that give you, they give you compliments, but you know it's not genuine. It's like, hey man, I'm glad to see you back to where you at, man. Man, you back on top, but you really upset because I surpassed you.
Absolutely.
You really upset because 4 years of my life was in a cell. But you didn't know that for that 4 years, I was preparing myself.
Listen.
I was preparing myself for that 4 years. So while you thought I was just in jail rotting away, no. I was preparing for who I am right now.
Hey, Crystal. Yeah. I definitely, hold on, read. You got some comments.
I got to say, your hardships and struggles will definitely determine your friendships. People love when you're up, but will be missing when you are in need. They are only interested in how they can benefit. Friendship is the intelligibles. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
I tell my wife, I have a young wife, and I tell my wife all the time, my wife is from Africa, so her culture is different. Like she accepts everybody. You know what I mean? Like straight animals. We got to give them a few dollars. Like she that's just her culture. And I have to explain to her, like, look, man, there are people that will use your kindness until you decide to say, hey, I can't do this no more. And then you become the motherfucker. The moment you say no, you're the motherfucker. But you forgot the 10 things I did do for you. But now I'm the motherfucker because the one time I say I can't do it. That's why I don't loan money. Because I know we're going to fall out. I don't do it. People, I can't. I would rather cherish whatever relationship we got.
Yep.
I know the nature of people. You're going to look at me like, hey, you know something? He can afford it. So I'm going to pay him back. No, like I'd rather we're gonna stay cool. I'm not
Yeah.
loaning shit. Like I don't. That's a rule of mine. I don't loan my children money. I give them money. Like Armani, my middle girl, she got it
That's
bad.
my baby right there.
I know she is. Armani be like, "Hey, Dad, can you loan me 100? Here, cash out, $100. Don't ask me for nothing else." Like,
that's my baby right there.
You know what I'm saying? But she had this habit of saying, "Can you loan?" And I always tell her, like, "Babe, if those are your real friends, just tell them, hey, can you give?"
Yep.
Get the word loan out your vocabulary. And if you got it to give it back, give it back. But quit saying, can you loan me something? Because that word loan create enemies. Because they expect that back. So just be like, hey, can you give me $20? Can you give me $50?
Yep. Listen, we're going to have to do, I don't know what kind of.
Hey, listen, I'm going to talk to Darius. I'm going to talk to Darius. We're going to do every second or third Wednesday of the month. I know next Wednesday, I'm heading to South Carolina.
Okay.
So I'll be closer.
Okay.
And guess who's moving with me in South Carolina?
Who?
Darius.
Really?
Darius
I'm telling you.
He's in the Boston area. Actually, he's in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So he is. This is how much faith he has in me. Like he is packing up and he's coming down to South Carolina with me.
What?
Like yeah, he's when I say he's my social media all in all manager, like he's literally going to direct me. Like, oh, we doing this, we doing that. Like.
Y'all gotta tell me what I gotta pay, what I gotta do. I just need to have my son away from me with y'all.
We got
he won't take it from his mama.
Yeah, we got
but like you know his potential.
We got you.
So just let me know.
He got the clothing line. He got a lot going on. He got a lot going on. So
that's my millionaire. That's my millionaire.
Miss Shamara, I enjoyed this. We could do this shit until 5 a.m.
We can.
I love you, sis. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I would definitely be hearing from you before this.
Absolutely.
We're going to plan this every 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to get with Darius. We're going to do this every second or third Wednesday of the month because I think people need to hear just the realness. And it might be called it the realness with SJ.
Let's go.
I love that.
Because, I'm here for all
yes.
of that.
She said yes. LaShonda said yes.
But like I said, I appreciate you for always having me, for always giving me a platform, for trusting me. With everything. I can never thank you enough for everything you've done for me, for my baby. I'm ready for whatever you need.
Absolutely. Hey guys, this will also be on YouTube. It will be restreamed on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever Darius put it. So hey, SJ, thank you so much. I love you. I cannot wait to the next one.
Thank you.
And you guys be safe, be blessed, and thank you so much for watching.